Hi guys, my name is Latrice Peterson and I am 26 years old and I am a Sickle Cell Warrior. I've been living with sickle cell disease all of my life, but I found out I had the disease since I was 3 years old, and it affected me a lot. And so now, at the age of 26, I am now a patient advocate and I'm spreading the word about sickle cell, and I want you guys to learn more about it and see what you can do even out in the community about it. So now it's your time to take a look into my life and see what it's about so that you guys can also go be advocates.
Hey everybody, welcome back to I Ain't That Chick. Yes, it is your girl Rae-Shan, and y'all already see I got another fabulous woman here on set telling her story. Please introduce yourself to our audience.
Hello guys, my name is Latrice Peterson.
Oh, she's so nice and soft-spoken. I'm just like, Latrice, I heard you say Sickle Cell Warrior. I like the warrior you attached to that.
Yeah.
Why warrior?
Because ever since I was a kid, I had to fight. And so I realized, even like God says, you're more than a conqueror. And so I have been conquering and living and fighting since I was 3 years old to deal with sickle cell disease. And that's in the hospital and personally, with all the extra stuff added to the disease.
Okay, because you could have made that statement. You could have said a victim of sickle cell, or you could have said, I just suffer with sickle cell disease, but you chose to be a warrior. And that's the message we're going for today. And I'm feeling all goosebumps and everything and pings all over and stuff. So you said since you were young, at what age did you find out you had sickle cell disease?
My mom found out when I was born that I had sickle cell disease, but at the age of 3, I kept getting fevers and kept getting sick really, really bad. And she took me out on a trip and she was like, why you keep getting sick? So she wound up calling another doctor because my doctor wasn't in town. And she was like, yeah, I got a letter saying that she had some type of sickness. I just don't know what the sickness is. Mm-hmm. And so she was like, what is it called? And she was like, sickle cell. They were like, take her to the emergency room right now. And so since 3, I had bacterial infection, I had pneumonia in both lungs. It was really bad. So that's the first time I ever had a sickle cell crisis. And from then on, it's been in and out of the hospital. That was at 3 years old.
And how old are you now?
I'm 26, about to be 27.
Ooh, happy birthday, praise the Lord. It's just good to be alive. Yes. And I wanted to share your story because, we've talked for a while, back and forth, and just being able to connect now. But, we hear sickle cell, like you just hear sickle cell and that's it. But I wanted you to give a look inside your life as a young woman because, you're young, you fly, you doing your thing. At 26, you live in life, but you have some interruptions because when I talk to you, oftentimes you're in the hospital, or just coming out of the hospital.
Yes.
And the only thing I remember being in overnight camp, and I hated overnight camp, but I remember being in overnight camp, and the kids would start crying out and stuff, and I didn't know, they would say they had sickle cell disease, but they seemed to be in so much pain. And I was all of maybe 12 years old, so I didn't understand it. I remember being afraid because I would hear them scream and what was wrong? What was wrong? So what is it like? Take us on your journey. What is it like?
When I was a kid, it wasn't as bad as it was when I got to adulthood. So I was in a hospital. I would have to stop going to school sometimes, missing weeks of school or having to leave school. My mom would have me to leave work randomly. I'll be fine in the morning, and then come second period or something, I'm sick and I would have to be rushed to the hospital, and it would take a lot. So I wasn't able to be in a lot of activities, and I did try to do cheerleading, which I did like,
but now tell me, what does it feel like to be sick? Or do you know when it, and I don't know if it's an attack, if you would call it an attack, do you know what it feels like when it's coming on, or what?
Sometimes I know what it feels like, because sometimes I'm really drained, I have no energy. Sometimes it's just my legs are really, really heavy and hard to walk and lift up, and it's painful. Okay. It's painful. And it's really,
if you could
really
describe the pain, what does that feel like?
Sometimes it's different. So sometimes it's an aching pain, you would have a headache type of pain. Sometimes it feels like somebody just took a hammer or something, or like something really heavy and just like laid it on top of your arm, and you have no circulation. So now it's like cutting off all the circulation. It's like a tourniquet being tied on your arm or wherever it's hurting, really, really, really tight, and it's like no circulation. So it's just like it's a mixture between aching and, you know, like throbbing. So
well, did you, like, growing up in school, and you know, because kids can be mean and nasty and hateful, and so did you ever experience anything like that when maybe the kids, or, you know, did you ever have any flare-ups or attacks at school, and did the kids ever, you know, like, what's wrong with you?
No, not until I got to high school, honestly. My freshman year in high school, I had a little bully, but you know how that is. But anyway, she used to just say stuff to me because I used to, you know, be gone sometimes. In elementary school, no, not much. Middle school, no. Everybody was really supportive. I remember one year, like, I was in a hospital, and I was in a hospital for a long time. I think like almost a month, basically. And they had like my whole class wrote and drew cards and stuff for me.
Oh, that's elementary school.
It was middle school.
Middle school, so it's
yeah,
sweet. But now the bully though in high school, because it happens and kids deal with it, and, you know, hopefully somebody, you know, will see your story, and maybe somebody is feeling a little insecure. But take me to that moment where, you know, the bully, I guess she just, you know, was doing her thing.
She had been bullying me for a little while, and I was new to like public school and stuff like that, so I'm quiet. I'm not really that loud. And
you can tell you're quiet.
Yeah, I'm not really that loud or outspoken that much and stuff like that. So when it came down to, like, she would just say things to me like, "What's wrong with you? Like, you always, like, you know, like, you just
trying to put you on front."
Yeah, just trying to put my stuff out there. But the thing was, I wasn't embarrassed by my sickness. I never was. It's just, it was me. So I wasn't embarrassed, but she tried to embarrass me by putting my sickness out there, but people know. So I was like, okay, you're saying that. And
she probably has something going on in her own situation, but hopefully she's, you know, since you're a little older now, hopefully she's grown out of that, and she's gotten better. So a young lady, a diva, fine and gorgeous, 26-year-old, how does sickle cell, you know, sometimes interrupt your life, and how does it impact your life?
It interrupts my life. Again, I said I was going to school for nurse practitioner. I've been trying to go to school since I was 18. It's been times I will literally have to drop out of all my classes because I couldn't.
Okay, you said you've been trying to go to school since 18.
Yeah.
Because it's 4 years, and because you could be done by now.
Yeah.
But that would lead me to believe, like, I'm thinking hospital stay 2 days and you're out. No.
I think I've done 3-day stays before, but normally it's like a week or more. Yeah. So it's a long time, and it's a long, especially with college, it's a long time missing school and nursing. I mean, I don't know, are the schools patient with you? Do they care? Do they give you any type of allowance? I didn't know that they had things in place for people with illnesses so that I'm able to still finish classes. I didn't know that they had that until I started advocating and being in places where going to meetings and town hall meetings and things like that. And so I had people tell me, like, no, they have things in place for you. So now I'm taking precautions and doing that before I get to school, emailing my professors, like, listen, I have a sickness and I might be out, but I'm going to try my best to
finish. Okay, so you're in school now.
I'm going back to school.
You're going back to school? That is awesome. And so you don't have to drop out, you don't have to stop, you can kind of take a break when you need to.
Yes. And that's exactly what I did. I wasn't going to. It was nothing with the Lord, because I had given up.
You stopped.
I had given up. Like, you know what, God, maybe this is something that you don't have for me. And my aunt was like, no, just apply. I'm like, listen, if God ain't telling me to go, I ain't going. And I showed that word from the Lord.
So how about, like, because that is different from for somebody that doesn't have sickle cell. How do you like work and like dating and stuff like that? Do you date?
I was dating.
Okay. Yeah. How does sickle cell interfere with that?
I actually got fired from a job maybe a couple of years ago because I got sick and had to leave work abruptly and drive myself an hour away back to my hospital. So yes, and I got fired from it. Got fired. So sometimes places are understanding, and I know they say that they can't fire you for being sick, but they will find a reason. If they don't want you there, they don't want you there. And so some places are understanding. I did have a job that was understanding, and willing to work with me. Some places just don't want to hire anybody that's sick because I'm not reliable. So,
well, you're not reliable. Not that it's your fault.
Yeah.
So you said that you're an advocate.
Yes.
So first of all, tell me about being an advocate and how you. I think that is so cool, and you're young too doing it. You know, you didn't wait till you was 50 to be an advocate. Not that there's anything wrong with 50, but what do you do as an advocate?
So now I'm actually under 2 organizations. One is Sickle Cell Association of New Jersey, and which we call SCANJA, and then the Sickle Cell Consortium. So I'm a patient advocate, meaning that I go to conferences and I speak about sickle cell. Yeah, I just came back recently.
Cool.
Too. So I go to conferences and I speak, and even in my hospital, I sit with my nurse and stuff like that, and we're able to talk to other nurses that have to deal with sickle cell patients.
Right.
And I speak to them and saying how they can deal with us and the things that we need and how we're able to bridge the gap between patient and caregiver or patient and just the medical world in general, because I feel like sometimes we don't understand each other.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah.
And that's a good point though. What don't we know about having sickle cell and what it's like to live with it?
That it's so, my friend says it all the time. Number one, sickle cell patients are like snowflakes. Neither one of us are alike.
Wow.
We're so different, and it's so crazy how different we are. Like, we still have the same symptoms, we get sick, but some patients, because there's a lot of genotypes of sickle cell, meaning there's a whole bunch of different types of sickle
it's like
cell.
sands, grains of sand or whatever. All different.
It's so many different types. So a lot of us we get different
like symptoms or reactions.
Different symptoms from it. And doctors don't understand that. They like to see, and then you can't see sickle cell. There's nothing that you can see. Like, I can't say, okay, you're going through a crisis right now because I'm reading the charts and this is adding up. And for doctors, they don't like that because they like proof. They like to be able to see what's going on.
But now, okay, so when you go to the hospital, how do they treat you?
All they have to give me right now is pain meds and fluids.
Are you serious?
So
is that what most sickle cell patients go through as far as treatment?
Yes. Pain meds and fluids. Yes. And really high doses of pain medication too. So yeah.
Do you believe that there is a cure for it?
I believe we're working on it. You have some pharmaceutical companies that are really working really hard to find a cure, find something that gives us a better quality of life. Okay. So there are people working on it, and I believe all things are possible. So I believe that there is a cure for it.
So since you said belief, and I just got to go here because you are a Christian.
Yes.
Okay. So Christians, and so 2 parts to this. One, did you ever say, God, God, you're good, and God, you love me. Why would you allow me to be born?
Oh yes.
You did?
Yes.
Oh, okay. You say that again. Say it louder.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Because some people say, you can't question God, or how dare you say that? Tell me about that. Tell me, how did you come to that point of asking God, like, why?
I was depressed. I was depressed since I was a kid. I mean, for years, I was depressed. I didn't understand. Like, I was always in the middle of things. I felt like I was always standing at a minute. I never completed. Yeah, I was just always in a place of being stuck. Like, I could never complete anything that I set my mind to, or the things that I really wanted to do. So I felt worthless. And I'm like, okay, all my friends are able to do this, and they're out here, especially as an adult and a young adult. Like, my friends have their own apartment, they're in relationships, they're,
Do you feel like you can't? Do you live alone?
No.
Can you live alone?
Yes.
Okay, you can live alone. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But it's just hard when you can't get, you can't really work like you want to. So that's the problem. So, but yeah, I'm able to, but it, like I said, it's hard. And being in a depressed state does not help. And it was a point, because I was in the hospital more than I was home. I was in the hospital.
Somebody else say that.
More than I barely saw my room and my bed. I was in the hospital maybe once or twice every single month, and it did not, there was no break. So I was like, God, I was taking up space.
And you say, God, why? What does God say to you? What does God say to you?
It's purpose.
He says purpose.
It's purpose. And I'm realizing now, like, sometimes I would think like, oh my goodness, I used to be like, why my sister couldn't have this? Like, why I had to have it? And I did it. Because I'm like, I got, especially when I was younger, I was the one with the glasses, I was the one that was sick, I was the one with this, and I'm like,
okay, Lord, can I get a break?
Yeah.
So he said his purpose.
Like,
and what
do you share this?
Yeah, can I, you know?
Yeah.
And so what do you think his purpose is for you, allowing you to have sickle cell?
Advocating, and my pastor just said it to me Sunday, I realized that I am an ambassador for Christ. I wouldn't be able to do and be an ambassador for Christ and not advocate for Christ, but try to for people to really understand like, you know, like people go through things, you know, and they feel like God, they feel like, God, you abandoned me, where are you at? And I feel like I'm in a place to say he's right there. He's been with you all this time, you know, and to understand your pain is birthed for a purpose. I remember somebody said, my mess is for a message. So the things that I've gone through is to just bring people hope. You know, not me bring people hope, but tell people that God can give you hope. He can give you peace in the middle of the situation, you know. So just understanding that. So, yes.
You know, because, you know, we're believers in faith, and, you know, sometimes it gets down, and like you said, you were depressed, and just because you're a believer doesn't mean you're never depressed. You know, and some people will say, well, God, you know, God is good, and why did God allow me to have this? And I don't think there's anything wrong with questioning, because we're human, we wonder why. But I don't believe God, you know, allows you to go through a storm and not walk through that storm with you, because he walks with you and he keeps you. And on some of those days, let me ask you this. Did you ever say, you know what, I'm ready to check up out of here. I don't want to be here.
Yes, I had plenty of those days where it was almost like, all right. Something that happened.
Why did it get so bad at that point that you said, you know what, right now I'm ready to be done?
Because I felt like there was no, I felt like I didn't have a life. Like I felt like I wasn't living, and I'm like, what is the purpose of being on earth and having life and not being able to live?
Oh, say that again.
So I was asking, like, why? What's the purpose of having life but not being able to live?
And I want you to answer that, because if somebody is watching and thinking the same thing, asking the same question, how would you answer your own question?
I realized I do have life in Christ. Not until I really asked God and got to a point where, like, God, all right, show me my purpose, because you have me here for a reason. So what is the purpose? Like, what is the point of me being here? What is the point that you have me to be here? And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get to a point where, you know, I'm going to put all trust and faith in you. Like, I don't know where I can't go any lower than this. So, you know, like, God, you just walk me through this and kind of show me where to go, where to move. And honestly, once I got to a place where God showed me, you lead me, God, you guide me, he literally started to take my foot and guide me. I started to go to different conferences, and I mean tripped up into conferences. I've never even taken a trip before in my life. I've never been on an airplane 26 years. Really? And then all of a sudden, when I said, God, you guide me, show me, things just start to happen. Like, I went to a conference, a pharmaceutical conference with my friend who got me into advocating, and next thing you know, oh, you got a trip that's paid for to go to Atlanta to be in a conference. Oh, you got a trip that's paid for to go to Atlanta again to be in a conference.
Wow.
Oh, we want you to speak here. Oh, somebody wants to hear your story. I want you to speak here. Literally, God started giving me, like, I'm the giver of life, and without me, you are not living.
Yeah,
you know. And
then and simply put, I'm the giver of life. He didn't say what type of life.
No,
he said I'm the giver of life. And so we're breathing. That's life.
Yes.
And you know, a lot of times, you know, God may give us a glimpse of the end point, but we don't see everything that's in between. Yes. So he didn't tell us always the storms that are going to come, and the trials and the challenges that will come with this journey called life. But he said, I give it. I believe if he gives it, he sustains it.
Yes.
Now I want to ask you, who is your biggest support or your confidant? And when you're low, you're at a low point, who picks you up?
I don't mean to be all religious with God, because I really got to a point where I felt like I had nobody.
But your family, though, do you have family support?
Yeah, I mean, like my mom, especially, she's there. I really want to tell her, but
no, you better tell mom. You better tell mom something.
But you know, like she's there. You know, like I'll just go in her room like, Mom, I'm not feeling well. Like I said, I'm not much of a talker. Period.
Okay.
Like with family.
But you're an advocate, so you have to talk.
Yeah, like. But I'm growing into being able to speak more, open my mouth. You know, I am. Yes. I am because my mom's like, you have to open your mouth. Like if it's a problem, share it. Because I'm the person like, listen, I'm gonna just keep it to myself and don't nobody know. I'm gonna be feeling like crap and I'm gonna still be walking around like I'm fine. That's exactly how I was living. My mom was like, you better open your mouth. You know, open your mouth. So I started to talk to my mom, and she kind of helps me get. You know, through a lot between her and my cousin.
Oh, look at her blushing. Talking about you, Mama. She blushing. So another thing. So, are there any physical signs or symptoms that people should see, or what do you wish people would ask you about sickle cell? Like, and just trying to educate people because I don't know. We don't know.
I wish people would just ask. And I say this all the time. I feel like some people ask to give a response and not ask to really know, like, are you really okay? Like, what are you really going through? And not like, oh, you okay? Oh, okay, that's good. And then go about their business, you know?
Like
so so I really wish people would want to really know about the disease. That's my biggest thing. It's because I feel like it's bigger than me. Like I have sickle cell, but there's so many people that have sickle cell and are so worse off than I am. I am so blessed. Okay, wow. There are so many people that are so worse off than I am, and if I can just get the word out for them, if the people that can't speak or don't have the platform to speak up, like if I could just get the word out to them. So I wish people ask, like, what is really going on in the sickle cell community? How can I help? How can I be involved? How can I wear it?
Well, how can people help, and how can people be involved, and how can people find out more information?
There's a website you can go on, Scanja, SCANJ.com.
You gotta say that one more time. And
Scanja, SCANJ.com. It's a Sickle Cell Disease Association of America. It's a chapter in New Jersey, and if you're not in New Jersey, you can just go on SCDAA. Sickle Cell Disease Association of America.com, and you can get involved that way. We have walks in September, Sickle Cell Awareness Month. July 19th is Sickle Cell Day Awareness, and you have different organizations, nonprofit organizations. You can kind of just Google
and support
online
groups.
And support groups. There's a lot of things. Blood drives that they have. We need blood, y'all. We have so many transfusions. I just got done having 8.
Really? Okay, so this last trip into the hospital, how long were you there? Because literally, you guys, we were going to do this interview, but Latrice was in the hospital.
Yes.
So how long were you in the hospital?
So I just thought I was supposed to do right. So I went to the hospital, knew I was sick, and then they was like, okay, we'll give you an exchange transfusion. But I had to go speak, and I was like, can we hold off this exchange? I was supposed to go to Boston. I was supposed to go speak. I'm like, can we hold off? I promise you, I'll come back. And so she was like, okay, all right, but you know, make sure you hydrated, whatever. So I left to Boston and had to come back for another 2 weeks.
So you go and you get blood transfusion.
Yes. So this time I had something called an exchange transfusion, where they take out about 6 to 8 pints of your blood and give you all new donor blood, so that you don't have to have a whole bunch of sickle cells in your blood. Didn't work as good as it did last time, but yeah, so I won't go through a crisis because your blood kind of renews itself within 120 days. So I won't be going through a crisis. Hopefully I won't be going through a crisis for at least like 3 months. So I had like a 3 months perfectly grace period. Well, I don't have to go through a crisis and be in the hospital. So yeah, and sometimes I just have to go there if my hemoglobin is low, if my iron is low, and get.
And the cost of it, is it expensive? Is it?
Yeah. For a sickle cell patient, if I'm not mistaken, it's almost like $5 million or something like that.
Throughout a lifetime.
To be in the house, throughout a lifetime. So okay, the statistics, it ranges, you know, depending on how much that person or that patient is in the hospital. And a lot of patients are in there maybe once or twice, like I said, a month. And so
that just so interrupts.
Yes. A lot. So it all depends on the patient. So
okay,
yeah.
I got 2 more questions because it's almost time. Why did you want to share your story? Why did you want to speak?
I wanted to speak because, like, I feel like if you put a face with whatever is going on, it makes people engage more. It makes people want to know, like, okay, she has sickle cell. Okay, now I see what it's like. Okay, I get it. Okay, I see. Okay, and then other people that's living with sickle cell, like I said, I don't feel like it's just about me. It's like, okay, if she's getting through it this way, and I'm getting through. You know, it's taking time, but I'm slowly getting through. It's like I can walk through this with her, and I can see that I can get through it too.
2 more quick things, because we got like 3 minutes. 1, you're a believer. Do you believe God to heal you?
Yes. Yeah. I do. I believe God to heal me, but in His way. I feel like sometimes people, and you have Christians that say, oh, well, what are you doing that God is not healing you? And it's just as simple. You don't know how God is healing. God has healed me from depression, because the way I was going out of here,
you better speak.
It was crazy. So God has healed me from depression, and if He don't want to heal, if I don't get healed completely from sickle cell, I'm okay. I am okay. I am okay. If that's what God is will, if that's the route,
God, your will be done.
Yes.
Because you got a lot of people to reach. And speaking of reaching, you said depression. So maybe somebody that can't sit here like you, and somebody that's not an advocate, and maybe somebody is just, I'm tired of life, I'm tired of living. You were once at that point.
Yeah.
What would you say to encourage somebody and give somebody hope? Maybe something that you needed somebody to say to you, or maybe something somebody said to you. What would you say to somebody to give them hope?
I would say, take your life into your own hands. Don't look at, number one, comparison kills. Don't look at the people around you and say, okay, well, this is going on for them. Because I realize a lot of times that causes depression also, seeing how other people are living and seeing the position that you're in. Don't compare yourself. You are on your own journey. God has His purpose for you, and you are unique. God needs you to fulfill His purpose. God put you on this earth to fulfill your purpose. There's a person that you also have to reach, and that you're reliable and accountable for. So you living your life and living and not taking it into your own hands to take your life, because if God didn't take it, it means it's not your time to go. Yes,
you better preach on, you little young preacher. Girl, I'm getting all like, okay, let's take it. Live, and that's the thing. Live, and you know what? Trust God, believe God.
Yes.
Believe God. Trust God. It just reminds me of the song Oceans, and I love that song, and I'm trying to think of the words. Your grace abounds in deepest waters. Deep waters, that's trouble. The waters of trouble is deep. Stuff happens when it's down deep. Your grace abounds in deepest waters. Your sovereign hand will be my God. It's just, I'm trying to think of the other words. I'm at a loss for words, which is rare.
It's just trusting God.
It's trusting God.
Trusting God and believing in Him. Not just saying, okay, I know God, but putting your full trust and saying, God, I believe you. And I believe you for wherever it is that you're taking me.
Whatever it is.
Even if I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't make sense. God, I believe you wherever it is that you're taking me. And God, you are the giver of life. So teach me and show me how I can live.
Thank God. I love what you said, sis. You said God is healed. You still have sickle cell, but He's healed me from depression and other things. And that is beautiful. Y'all, we got to say goodbye. Girl, you better keep on being an advocate. Don't you ever stop speaking. Don't you ever stop speaking, because somebody needs you.
Thank you. And I appreciate you for having me.
Thank you. Give me some love. Bye, you guys. Thank you for tuning in.
Want to find out more about I Ain't That Chick? Visit our website at www.iantthatchick.com.